Hello, fellow teacher. My name is Laura, and I'm your virtual content specialist together with the Division of Multilingual Learners. And on this video, I'm going to guide you through the week, so you are going to be able to overview what type of scaffolds you can use in your class to support your multilingual learners. You may be wondering right now, how does my week looks like? So that's exactly what we are going to see together. Let's begin. The main content objectives for the lesson today are students will learn about Mendel and his studies on pea plants, and students will also learn about the law of segregation and the law of independent assortment. The language objectives for today are students will explain how Mendel's data led him to develop the law of segregation and the law of independent assortment. The main activities for the lesson today are a video, interactive modules, independent practice, and regions-like questions. Suggested strategies for multilingual learners are to play video at a lower speed, to assign interactive activities as a jigsaw, a word wall for students because they're getting familiar with a lot of new language for them, cognates, and even if you can explain some suffixes and prefixes and show multiple choice elimination strategies. Let's move on to day 7. On day 7, students will investigate molecular genetics and traits. Students will investigate the structure and function of DNA. As language objectives, students will apply their understanding of classification, chromatography, and molecular traits as they complete Test 4 and Test 5 for the presence of a specific enzyme. Main activities include a video, a reading, a videotaped lab experiments on chromatography, and regions-like questions. To support multilingual learners, use closed captions and use the Genetics and Biotechnology Anticipation Guide that you can find on page 7 in your Google slide deck. This anticipation guide is to be used at the beginning of the unit. Today is a perfect day to use this guide, and then to be used again at the end of the unit so students can see by themselves how much they have learned throughout the unit. For the anticipation guide, our students are asked to agree or disagree with a statement and to explain why. At the end of the unit, students will come back to the same guide and revise their answers. Other ways of supporting multilingual learners are to use Google Translate, Microsoft Immersive Reader, share cognates and a word bank, and establish discussion time within the lesson. On day 8, students will learn about the structure of DNA, nucleotides, complementary base pairing, and the molecule's double helix structure. Students will investigate DNA replication and the story behind DNA discovery. The language objective of the day is for students to connect their understanding of DNA's structure to its function of storing genetic instructions, and they will do so by answering prompt questions using academic vocabulary. The main activities of the lesson include videos, articles, CK12 Plex activities, and regions-like questions. To support multilingual students, you can use pre-reading strategies such as See, Think, Wonder, or KWL. You can also show your students how to use Google Translate or Microsoft Immersive Reading. And please feel free to use the 2 student-facing videos that I created for you, one in English and one in Spanish, in which I model how to answer the CK12 Plex activity. Another strategy that you can use is to prepare a biotechnology and genetics word wall in Padlets. This very cool Unit 6 Genetics and Biotechnology word wall has been created for you, and you can find it on slide number 7. This is an opportunity for you to share with your class and ask your students to share their ideas about these words and to respond to other people's ideas as well. Content objectives for day 9 include The students will begin their study of RNA, and the students will also learn about the process of transcription. As language objectives, students will compare and contrast DNA and RNA in terms of structure, function, and location within cells. At the close of the lesson, the students will apply their understanding of transcription as they practice transcribing DNA sequences into mRNA transcripts. Main activities for today include videos, CK12 Plex activity, and regions-like questions. Some suggestions to support your multilingual learners are to use closed captions, to assign CK12 Plex activity in pairs or small groups using breakout rooms. If you're teaching online, of course, discuss elimination strategies for multiple choice regions-like questions and use the word wall and sentence starters. And of course, you can always direct your students to use the word wall that you create in Padlets and also the list of cognates that you may have designed for your students. On day 10, students will explore the process of translation. Students will also learn how mRNA can be interpreted in three-letter codons and how codons code for amino acids. Under language objectives, we have that students will be introduced to codon charts as a tool that can use to translate an mRNA transcript into a polypeptide. Some main activities for the day include videos with prompts, reading, CK12 Plex activity, regions like multiple choice questions. And some ideas to support your multilingual students today are to use annotations in the reading. The reading is pretty heavy and students are still practicing the language. So annotate on the reading can be a really good strategy to help our students. You can also use the preview review strategy that I did explain in one of my former videos. You can also encourage students to use Google Translate, and also you can use interactive Edpuzzle videos that you can create to review vocabulary and content. Allow students time to discuss video in person or online and model the CK12 Plex activity if necessary, which is a little bit more difficult than the first one that I modeled for you on my video number 2 and video number 3 for the week. And as always, direct the students to use the Padlet word wall that you created a few days ago. Okay, and this is the end of the overview for the week. I hope this video gave you ideas on how to support your multilingual learners throughout the week. Have a great day. Bye-bye.